In this video, we're going to take a look at the 4 different tap topologies available in Objeq Delay 2. The delay module in Objeq Delay 2 has 4 distinct separate types of routing topologies. Now, the simplest one tap, takes the input signal and runs it through a high cut and low cut filter and then back into the feedback loop based on the delay time that we have set here. Now we can open this panel up and sync it to musical subdivisions based on the host tempo and or multiples of those divisions. Or when the sync button is disabled, as it is now, we can tune it freely based on milliseconds. Now here I've got a simple vocal with the same signal on both sides. If you do feed a stereo signal into here, it'll preserve the stereo information. But here's the vocal without any Objeq Delay running into a reverb.
Don't forget about me. I can live in your dreams.
I'm going to bring this in. So a simple doubling, tight slap type of effect. There it's more distinct. Now I'm going to focus on the wet signal, and I can filter and feed just the high frequencies back in, and so on. In this case, I'm going to take the low-mid portion of the signal to feed back through, so it's a bit more thicker and subtler. And then I can adjust the balance here between the dry and wet. Now as I dial up the feedback, it begins to oscillate with a longer time. You'll hear the metallic kind of oscillation. But let's leave it down, dial this a bit tighter, and we can add some subtle effect by modulating the delay time. Here I'm modulating it in positive amounts, based on a triangle wave at a fairly slow rate. And I'm using the level of the vocal here to subtly modulate the feedback. Here I've got some piano chords, and I'm going to bring this in. And here I'm using the 2-tap topology, where the width parameter spreads each tapped stage into the stereo field. Now we have the same parameters for setting the time, feedback, and filtering as the signal gets fed back in, but we have a width control. Now this drives 2 pan modules. When we're in this psychoacoustic mode, delays and filters are used to simulate the arrival times and the filtering characteristics of an idealized head model. So we get a nice kind of chorusy, washy type of effect. And in gain mode, it mimics regular pan pots where the signal is split between left and right based on the amount that we dial up here. So let me focus on the wet signal. I've got this set to dotted eighth notes, with a bit of feedback and a bit of filtering. Now I'm going to modulate the width here. Again, I'm going to dial this back. So we had a lovely kind of thick, chorusy type of effect in this psychoacoustic mode. Just lovely sounding. And with the second modulator, I'm going to modulate very subtly the feedback. Just a gentle amount in positive territory. Here I've got the same piano settings with this set to gain and the width all the way up, and again subtly modulating the width down a little bit. But here we get more traditional left-right panning of the repeats. Versus this thicker, lusher modulation-based type of stereo widening. Here I've got Objeq Delay 2 on the bass part and it's bypassed at the moment, and I'm using the 4-tap topology, which features 4 delay stages, all controlled by this time parameter, which I have set to 16th notes, which are fairly fast. So let me bring it in. Now we have 4 taps, but they're altered independently using this spacing parameter. So it adjusts the delay times of taps 2 and 4 relative to the first tap. When it's centered like this, they all share the same delay time here. So they're all spaced at 16th notes. But as I dial it to the right, it increases the delay time progressively, giving it a behind the beat kind of feel. And to the left, decreases the delay time, making it seem a bit faster or ahead of the beat. So it creates expanding or contracting rhythmic patterns, while the first tap always remains anchored to the main time value set here. Now we can choose which taps are fed back into the feedback loop. I've got a low feedback set up here. You can get different kind of feels rhythmically by turning selective taps on or off. And then each output stage can be placed in the stereo stage independently via these panning parameters. And again, we have the psychoacoustic mode or the gain mode. And I can turn individual taps on or off. It's a nice kind of subtler feel rather than having all 4 taps working. But I'll bring them in. Leave out this one. Again, different rhythmic pulses and feels. Now here, I've got this set to modulate the delay time. Bipolar. And it's creating a bit of pitch oscillation, which is kind of cool. And I'm creating a special effect here by modulating the same parameter with a different shape and slightly different pulse width. Really interesting detuning going on there. And I can balance it, get just a little bit of it. Here I've got some simple chords on a keyboard sound, and I'm using the split topology, where we can set 2 independent delay times. This is the initial pre-delay, and this is all the subsequent echoes. I'm going to bring it in, and I have this set for a quick kind of slap, and then this one is timed to dotted eighths. So there's our regular dotted eighths. And I can create a rhythm with a timed pre-delay by ear. Maybe a little quicker. And here I'm feeding it back in so that we get some additional iterations. Now here I'm going to modulate the first delay time. I'm getting a slightly detuned sound based on the amount. With a subtle amount, it's a nice chorused type of effect on the pre-delay. Now I'm going to bring in the filter module here. To filter the repeats by cutting the low end with a steep filter. And I'm going to modulate that. I have this set to modulate the Q factor, the width of how steep the cut is, to give an almost wah type of effect. I'm timing this to quarter notes. I can do it a bit slower. I'll leave it at quarters. I can go steeper. But a little bit is a nice subtle effect. And I can set where I want the wah to start in the phase of the triangular shape. So those are some ideas on how you can use the 4 different topologies in Objeq Delay 2 to creative advantage.